And we are live. So what's going on,
All right.
everybody? Today I have Dusty or Dustin. How do you like it? How you prefer it?
Uh, Either way, Dusty is what I guess most people who know me call me, but it's Dustin, like at work. It's either one.
So I have Dusty Ashford here. He lives in Southern Indiana, or are you in Kentucky?
I'm in Southern Indiana, Jeffersonville. It's right over the bridge of Louisville.
So, yep, another Indiana boy on here. So I'll take all the Indiana guys I can find. So I found Dusty on Instagram, I think. I think I stalked him on Facebook too. But he started off doing what, refrigeration, and you worked your way into kitchens.
Well, I actually started initially doing HVAC, residential HVAC, and then I came on to the company I'm at now to do commercial HVAC and refrigeration. And then we had an opening. They were kind of growing on their kitchen equipment side, and they had more work than guys, which is a good thing. So they kind of came to me and asked me if I wanted to learn it and get into it, and pretty much said, "Sure, why not?" And been doing it ever since then. So it's kind of like just an avenue that opened up. So I took it.
That's cool. That's awesome, man. Good to hear.
No,
It's definitely a growing field. Like I said
it
before,
is.
most of the guys are aging out. So most of the guys I work with are late 50s, early 60s, and they're aging out. They can't do the stuff we do. They don't want to climb on the ground. They don't want to climb in the attics. They don't want to get on the roofs, and it's definitely going to be a young man's game. So I'm trying just to push it out there, what we do, and promote it as best we can. I mean, it's a cool industry. I have a lot of fun doing it. I meet a lot of cool people. The Instagram thing I just kind of started up because, like I said in the past, I was following other guys. I was like, man, there's no one really showcases what we do. So I'm always glad to see guys like you putting some stuff on there, and there's a couple other guys that are starting to put some pretty good content out there. So, but no, I just want to have you on,
And I
and
think that's how I Yeah, and that's how I found your Instagram account. I think it was under the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles. And I was looking at your stuff. I was like, hey, man, I do this stuff too. And it was the only Instagram account that I'd seen that was posting, kitchen equipment because everyone else does HVAC and the refrigeration, but you never see anything specific. And I think I shot you a DM. I was like, yo, man, I do this too. And then I was probably like, I need some help. Help me
yeah,
out.
I'll help anybody out, man. There's enough work out there to keep everybody busy. There's no reason to fight or anything over work. I mean, we're telling people 3 weeks out for good customers, unless it's our top tier customers, then we kind of move some stuff around. But we're telling people to call in that don't use us regularly, take 3 weeks out. There's some companies that if you haven't done work with them in the last 6 months, they won't service you.
Mhm.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
We tell them
it's
3 weeks out,
like
and unless they prove overtime, if they prove overtime, the overtime guy gets hammered, and it happens every freaking day.
oh, oh yeah, that's kind of I've noticed that too. It's when it comes in, especially that kitchen stuff. When it comes in, man, it comes in, and it's usually a weekend, and you're hard pressed telling a customer you can't get there today. Most of them will approve the overtime, but sometimes they just got to wait a couple days or move some stuff around. And I've actually since I started doing this, my hours have gotten a whole lot longer, which is good, which I like. But it's I mean, those fryer calls, oven calls, skillet calls coming at 4:30. Even if I'm not on call, I usually try to take them just to put my hands on more stuff. But it's definitely an in demand field, and like you said, there's not a whole lot of people who even I didn't even know about it really before I
Mm-hmm.
started doing it. I'd seen stuff in kitchens, but it never clicked with me like who works on that, who does that, until we started doing it, and I was like, man, this is an industry I didn't even know of. So
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. So, are you guys now a Sophisticare company, or are you just doing Sophisticare training right now?
no, we are a Sophisticare company. We I think as of July, I think, is when we apply. I think we applied in early July and it got approved in July as well.
Cool. Cool.
And then, because I think when I went to the training at the headquarters, we had just got like our plaque and our certification and all that stuff in the office. So it's
That's
pretty
cool.
close together.
Have you seen any of the books yet for the electrical, refrigeration, the steam or gas books yet, where you take the test? Have you seen any of those yet?
I, I do. I actually, they just got or I just got the electrical handbook manual. So I've started reading that and flipping through that, and that's the first certification test I'm going to take. So I've been reading that one, and I think once I do that one, we'll do the gas one, and then kind of grow from there.
Yeah, it's cool, man. a lot of people don't know what CFESA is, and it stands for the Commercial Food Equipment Services Agency. No, Association. Sorry, see there, I butchered it. So it's just like a body you can join that helps promote best practices, and it links everybody together with manufacturers and stuff like that. Um, they just had their big convention last week. Was it last week? Yeah, it was last week down in Nashville at the Omni, and it was cool. Me as a technician, I trained for them as well, but I train refrigeration. But as a technician, it was cool to see. It doesn't really affect me. The convention does, but it was neat to see because there's a lot of like business side stuff. There's a lot of training side stuff that really doesn't affect me. It's like how can they change the training and make it more tech friendly or get more people involved. But I mean, it was a blast to see, and then of course I won that award. So
No, yeah.
that really made it a lot better. But
you gotta flex that one. You gotta let them know what award you won.
I know. No, that was nuts, man. I had no idea it was coming. What's up, Chris? Chris Stevens is in the live stream, so Chris is a good dude, man. He's helped me out a bunch, and I love watching his videos. He's a smart guy, so make sure you guys check him out.
HVACR videos?
Yep, I always call him by his real name, and he probably gets mad at me for not promoting his YouTube channel name. But
no, when I started doing refrigeration, I watched Chris's videos biblically, and I learned so much stuff. Super descriptive, super informative. It's a good dude to follow.
Yeah, he breaks it down. He tells you how it is, and the thing about Chris, if he makes a mistake, he admits it. He doesn't hide it. He owns it, and I do the same thing. I don't want to come off super polished. I screw up. I mean, I'm no better than nobody else. I've just been doing it a while. Yeah. If I mess up, I'm gonna tell you I mess up. I mean, I don't hide it. I mean, it is what it is. Nobody's perfect. And the day you think you're perfect, you're not. I mean,
exactly. So yeah.
What's up, Gregory? Can you see the live stream on the questions on your side?
On my side, I don't think I can.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure how it came up. I've never done it. I've never been on the other side of this, so.
I think I can see the comments. I don't know.
Okay, that's comments. Okay. So, but no, CFESA it's a pretty cool organization. They're trying to rebrand and do a little better stuff. Now, you being a new guy, I'd sign up for the Sophisticare Scholarship. You can use that towards like outside training. You can use it towards inside training. Chris is not about promotional stuff. You can use it towards, like I say, if you want to go to trade school and learn how to weld, you can use it towards that. But it's pretty cool. They're doing 2 this fall. They're doing a $2,500 scholarship, and you can use it for whatever you want. And then they also have a $1,500 bonus of Klein tools from All Points. So that's a lot of Klein tools for $1,500. So make sure you guys sign up for that for you. I'm gonna sign my trainee, my son up for it.
Okay. And, I think I saw that. I saw the link for it. I never looked into it. I knew exactly what it was, but I saw that. It's pretty cool.
And they don't do a really good job promoting it. I'm trying to help promote CFESA a lot more because, I mean, they've had like some of the scholarships have been like 2 or 3 guys, and like if it's 2 guys, they were both just guaranteed to get it. And it's like just, a lot of people don't know about it, so it's crazy. I'm like, and that's why I kept telling everybody at the conference, like, you guys need to do a better job promoting this and pushing this out. What you guys are.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
that's what I mean.
So
CFESA in general, I think it's super cool, and like especially going to the headquarters when I went, I didn't expect it to be that nice and that in depth and that huge and like that big of a presence because I hadn't really seen a whole lot of it. But I feel like there should be a bigger push to like promote that because it's something cool and I think huge to be a part of, and it's just guaranteed. And Dan Reese, Dan. He was talking about like when CFESA started, and that's such a cool way to start a foundation organization. It's just pretty much tech based, it's just to help us all get better.
Yep, they have 4 complete training rooms that have hoods and hookups, and then they have a training, like a classroom, and then they have that barn. Did you see the barn full of equipment out there?
I did. We pushed up I think it was a Blodgett oven out of there. We went and got it and pushed it in.
Dude, that thing is cram packed full of stuff, man. There's full dish machines in there.
There's there's a couple ice machines. I thought I saw an evaporator, but I'm not sure exactly.
Oh, there's all kinds of stuff in there. That hood, they actually take that down for the install class, and you rehang it and go through all the controls and hook it all up. You do the install class. It's a pretty cool setup. They're getting ready to do. So I got refrigeration training coming up next week. Is NTT, and then there's a break, and then there's a basic refrigeration class coming up, and then after that, is an ice machine class, which would be pretty cool to go to. I actually want to go to it. We don't do a ton of ice machines, so I don't really stay up to date on it or current. So sometimes I kick my butt when I get a call just because I don't do it all the time. So
Yeah,
I actually want to try to go to that, but I doubt that
exactly.
happens because it'll be gone for like, I'll be in town for a week. So I'll be at Sophisticare for a week. I'll be home for a week and then have to turn around and go back. So I doubt they let me go. But I mean, it is what
Yeah.
it is. I try to get all the training I can, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I saw that the ice was because I'm kind of the same way. I don't really do them a whole lot, so when I get to them, it's kind of always a learning curve. But any information helps, and I think those are going to be like, I think it's manufacturer training will be there. I think like Manitowoc people might be there. I know Scotsman crew might be there, so probably be a
Yeah,
really good class.
it's all done by the manufacturers. So Sophisticare just kind of organizes it and hosts it. So I think
Mm-hmm.
Hoshi's there. I think Scotsman, Manitowoc, and I'm not sure. I think there's four that are there. I'd have to look and see exactly who's going to be there. But I know Hoshi was there last year, Manitowoc, Scotsman. So I'm not sure who the last one is. But it's
Yeah.
a pretty cool class, and it's in depth. So you spend a day with each manufacturer, and then you guys rotate. So it's in a group. So it's a pretty cool setting.
Okay.
Yeah, Sophisticare is kind of expensive there, Chris. I'm not sure, especially you just doing refrigeration. It's kind of probably not really up your alley. I mean, they do a lot of training opportunities. It's cool. I mean, if you want to send someone to training, you can send them to training, and you just have to pay a higher cost. But I mean, it's a lot of great opportunities. But you don't do hot side stuff, and their main focus is hot side. A lot of it, so it may not be as best suited for you, Chris. So you went to Sophisticare for the electric, gas, steam, water, right? Is that what it is? EGSW.
Yes. Yep. The
So,
EGSW class.
what do you think about that?
I thought it was I thought it was amazing. Really, I didn't really know what to expect just because that was my first, I guess, time dipping into the Sophisticare trainings, and I was trying to find like examples on YouTube and stuff like that. So I was kind of going to a little blindly as to what to expect. And I thought it was great. Each day Dan kind of broke it down. Started with electrical, and went to gas, and then water, and then steam. But it was kind of it was really neat because it covered the basic principles of each subject and also put it into field examples. So you would do your electrical class, and then you would go and we actually would have boards that were wired up, and we'd have to wire it up, or there would be, you know, Dan would build service calls within these pieces of equipment to where we had to find it, and you would be using what you just learned on paper, but you would be using it hands on. So I think that was huge, and I didn't really expect it to be that beneficial or that in depth. And it actually helped me a ton to actually learn it in class. And I think he gave an example, and I'm the same way. Like in class learning, you only retain like about 10% of it, but in the field, it's more like 60, 70, 80%, just because your hands are on it's more tactile. So I think that was huge, super beneficial, and just the confidence you get from working on equipment and being there and learning it from kind of a top tier, top ranked technician, and being around other people who are in your same shoes, and if something's not clicking with someone, there's someone else there that it may be clicking with, and you have the camaraderie between everyone. I thought it was great. I thought it was an excellent time. I'd highly recommend it to anyone getting into it or anyone interested in the field or already been in it for a little bit, kind of needs more confidence boosted, or just to make things make sense. So I thought it was a really good time.
Yeah, that class is really designed for someone that has probably about 6+ months experience in the field, and it just kind of helps
Mm-hmm.
hone the skills and kind of focus them. So I
Yeah.
teach refrigeration, and the problem with that was it used to be like 80% PowerPoint sitting in the classroom and like 20% hands on. And
Yeah.
they've realized over the years that the techs learn better than hands on. So I got brought in to try to bring it, more hands on. So we're down to about 60-40, and my goal is to be like 60% hands on and 40% in the classroom. So I still got some more work to do, some more revamping to do, but it's getting there. And I need to get a hold of some manufacturers and try to get some pieces in that we can really, cut apart, tear apart, and hey, teach everyone how to braze or teach them their basic. It's a basic class. It's not an advanced class, so I can't get too crazy. But some of the stuff I make sure everyone can make sure they know how to read gauges. I bring in my field piece pros, show those off, but I don't let them learn on that. I make sure they can do gauges, manual
Mm-hmm.
temperature clamps, that kind of stuff, and then I show them both ways how to check superheat and subcooling and everything with analog and the digital. They have a walk-in box. It kind of sucks. It's so small and it's a push around unit, but it cools down so fast. But I'll jack with the superheat and then make them guys set it and stuff. So they get some experience doing that. And then there's some other mock-ups where it shows different kinds of valves and stuff you get to play with, and you can flip switches and turns different solenoids on, does different things. So there's a lot of different stuff over there. It's just trying to get to all of it and try to get used to it. It's what kills me, because some of this stuff I'm like, what is this thing? I don't have any idea what it is.
I got you. We actually have we have a guy going down there for that class that you're teaching in November. His name's Jonathan. He's a cool dude. So I told him to watch out for you and be careful.
Yeah, I like to have fun. I mean, I don't like to sit there and just preach to the guys and PowerPoint. I mean, that's pretty bad. Like some of the slides were like images like from the 80s. I'm like, it just doesn't need to be here. I mean, so I brought in the newer refrigerants. I brought in some of that stuff that especially the R290, R600 type stuff, and I brought in I always bring in my field piece vacuum pump, and I bring in my my True Blue hoses, one hose set up, and then we'll run a race. I mean, they've got a JV pump there and the manifold, and we have identical units, and I'll just whip up on them with that one hose set up and that field piece pump. But I mean, it just shows the difference. What the different technologies and different techniques are anymore. It's just that's what I'm trying to do: bring it more modernized and make it streamlined. I mean. There's no sense in pulling through your manifold and wasting your time. If you can do it one hose, you can do it twice as fast. That means you're more productive, you're more valuable to your company, you're more valuable to your customers. So I mean, I don't know why guys are so against it, but I mean, if it makes my job easier, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So how long have you been in HVAC industry?
7 years. It'll actually be 7 years next month.
So did you do a trade school or?
I did not. I actually used to do like home automation and like smart home technology. Nice. And I was traveling a lot for that. We lived in Seattle for a little bit, lived in Denver for a little bit, Indianapolis just for a short period of time. And it was just, I was always going to different offices, training different offices. And it just, there wasn't a solid home location. I was always going to end up traveling. So I just kind of, we had our son, and I think at the time he was 2. He had just turned 2. So I wanted something a little more stable. So I looked into the trades, and I walked into a HVAC company that, that I'd seen they were advertising for hiring service technicians. I went in there and already had some tools and basic knowledge of electrical and stuff like that. And they brought me on as an apprentice, a helper. I did install for about 1.5 years, and I freaking hated it. So I wanted to learn service as fast as I could, and so then I started, I bought books and watched YouTube videos, just learning how I could fix stuff as fast as I could. And then I started asking to go on service calls, and then became a service technician. Did that for about 5.5 years, and then got into commercial, just because I did doing residential was good and it was fun, but I felt like I was kind of getting bored. It was kind of getting drummy for me personally. And I wanted to, move on to, bigger equipments and I wanted to do refrigeration. That was the goal too. So I moved from residential, got into commercial, and originally we're just going to do commercial HVAC, and then started doing refrigeration, and then obviously the kitchen equipment when that avenue opened. And I've been doing refrigeration kitchen equipment for about 1 year now altogether. So, but HVAC, I think, built a good foundation fundamentally that was kind of made everything not easy. It's not easy by any means, but it helped kind of build on the blocks that I already had.
Yeah, that automation probably helped you out a bunch because you knew how to probably read diagrams, schematics, and troubleshoot some stuff. So that probably was a huge help. I've never done residential. I mean, I've done some stuff in my house, but as far as ductwork, anything like that, I can't do it, man. My basement flooded, and I had to get a new furnace, and I paid someone to come in and hang the furnace and do my transitions and stuff. And then I ran the line set and stuff from my AC and did all that. But it's not my cup of tea. I mean, I love watching those guys work. I mean, there's some great guys out there on YouTube and Instagram. Jeff JDM and Flynn, the stuff they do. I'm like, you guys are artists. I'm like,
yeah.
Makes me feel bad. Makes me want to learn a new trade, but I'm like, I don't want to start over. But I respect what these guys do. It's an art form for sure. So
exactly, and that's a thing too. Like I did it for a year and a half, and I was kind of working alongside people who they weren't the Jeff J. and Flintstone, and they weren't like those kind of guys. They were just kind of the installers, just getting it done. But ever since then, I started seeing those guys post up on Instagram, and I was like, man, how do you think of this stuff? Who thinks of that? Like and I think like that Pro Press actually helps a lot. I mean, that stuff makes it look a whole lot prettier. They're just doing big things, and it's good to see that in that industry too, that there's not just guys throwing in pieces of equipment and then leaving. There's guys who are taking pride in it and taking it serious and making it look good. So now it's putting pressure on all the other installers to do a better job. And I think that's a huge ripple in that market.
Yeah, the good thing is their owner or their boss stands behind them and appreciates the fine work they do. So it goes to show that the right environment, the right people behind you, you can do a lot more things than just slam stuff in there. And it really shows. So you're talking about the Pro Press. Do you do any Pro Press stuff or anything? Or
we do not. We have some guys that work for our company, and they do a lot of the installs and the big projects, refrigeration, HVAC, they'll pipe in chillers and stuff like that. We have a team of guys who handle that, and I think they have a Pro Press, but I don't have one. I haven't bought one, and I don't do a whole lot of like install stuff in that avenue to necessitate it. But I mean, I think it's super cool. I see you post this stuff all the time, and it just looks super clean.
Yeah, I do a little bit. Like when I have to Pro Press like waterline stuff, I've rent a gun. Unfortunately, I haven't pulled the trigger on buying one yet because like some of these places I install these combi ovens, it's a nightmare to get a burn permit. Like I almost got thrown off a job one night. I didn't know I had to get a burn permit. I was at a hospital. And we were doing night installs on these combis, and we were doing it for like 2 weeks straight. We were down to the last set, and the super showed up, and I fired up a torch. He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, I'm sweating in these drains." He said, "You got a burn permit?" I was like, "What's a burn permit?" He looked at me all crazy. He's like, "You haven't had a burn permit. You've been doing all these drains." I'm like, "No, it's the last one." He's like, "I thought you did these off site and brought them in." I was like, "How can I do them off site and bring them in?" I was like, "That doesn't make sense." So he's like, "Well, you better get a burn permit." And as soon as he turned his back, I lit a torch, dude. He turned around, grabbed a fire extinguisher, and I thought he was going to spray me. I learned real quick what a burn permit was. So,
did he let you finish it, or did you have to press it?
No, he took me down and got me a burn permit, but he was not happy about it.
Yeah.
I was like, man, we did this whole project. It was like 10 ovens. We were on ovens 9 and 10. I was like, man, I got like 3 joints to do. Just let me do it. He's like, I can't believe you've been doing this. Well, he was mad. I mean, I get it. It's a liability issue, but I use the RLS system, the rapid logging systems for the refrigerant systems a lot, just because we do a lot of schools and nursing homes and hospitals, and it's just the burn permit process can be a nightmare. Some's all right, some are terrible. I had a hospital, children's hospital in Indianapolis, where they wanted you to have 2 guys for 4 hours after the job was done. So by the time you got done with the job, not when you were done brazing, but when the job was complete, you still had to stay there for 4 hours with 2 guys. I was like, there's no way this manufacturer is going to pay for 8 hours of labor on a Saturday for 2 guys. So I cheat. I will brace stubs on my compressors outside and cap them off, and then I'll come in and I'll cut out the old compressor after I pull the refrigerant out, and I just kind of match up my lines, and then I'll just use an RLS fitting and tie it together. I mean, I've had pretty good luck with them. I've only had one leak, and that was just because it was in a tight spot, and I didn't get it set fully in, and it leaked, and it was what it was. I wasn't blaming them. It was me. I shouldn't have done it, but I tried it anyways, and I ended up having to cut out a countertop and a bunch of other stuff and replace a line because of it. So live and learn, I guess.
That's what I was wondering too. Like I haven't used them, so I don't really know 100%. But the dependability on them, like, are they super dependable? Do they work, or is there a history of leaking? And that's another thing too. If it leaks, do you have to just cut it out and repipe it and repress it?
Yeah, with the RLS, if it leaks, you got to cut it out. But the good thing about them is they stand behind it. So if you have a fitting that leaks, you can send it to them. And if it's deemed it was a fitting issue, they'll take care of you. But if it's deemed it was an installation issue, it's on you. So, but I mean, it's pretty, as long as you deburr it, you mark it, you clean it, and you follow the guidelines, it's pretty bulletproof, man. I haven't had any issues out of any of them. Like I said, besides the one I couldn't get fully seeded, and I sent it anyways. So that was shame on me.
Yeah. Oh well. I've seen like a picture that someone posted on, I think it was Instagram. I can't remember the account that posted. It was a refrigeration account, and someone used a one of those fittings, and they didn't seat it well. They didn't do it well. I don't think they deburred it, and it was leaking. And someone had came back and tried to braze around like the fitting.
Yeah,
Man,
it's got that ceiling in there, and
yeah,
they say they'll pretty much disintegrate when you get heat on them, but I don't
yeah.
think I want to try it or find out. So,
I wouldn't. No, I think you just got to cut it out and repipe it at that point.
so have you done any dish machine repairs or anything yet?
I've done a couple. Yeah, it's not I haven't done a whole lot. I had a couple of drain issues. Had to replace a pump, like a wash pump on one, real tight squeeze. I think it was a 22-inch wide. I don't know if I'm supposed to say the name, but
Okay, as long as we're not bad mouthing them, it don't matter.
it was a proprietary piece of equipment. You already know who it is. But I had to track the pump down. That was a pain. I could only find one, and but I got it replaced. And that, as far as that, like just a few here and there, I placed a disconnect leading into a dish machine. But as it stands right now, we don't really have a whole lot. But I think it's expanding because our customer base is expanding, and so we're having a lot more customers ask about dish machines in lieu of. And I think that one that I recently worked on, they had called a service company that usually takes care of it, and they were 4 weeks out, I think. And we were available that day, so I was like, sure, yeah, I'll go over there and take a look at it. And the pump just had that seal inside, and it was just shooting water like crazy, and it worked its way into the body of the motor, and it was just a huge mess. But that was just a pump replacement. And so, but I think since we're doing more and more, we're going to be doing more and more.
I like the dish machines. It sucks if you're wet, but find enough cardboard and it's different. I don't do it all the time, but when I do it, I take some joy in it because I enjoy all the different aspects. Like if I worked on the same thing over and over, I couldn't do it. If I only did fryers, if I only did ovens, I couldn't do it. So that's why I like this job. It's always a variety. I'm all over the place. You're not working on the same thing. You can go into 4 different kitchens and work on 4 different completely things, and it's cool. So it works out well for me. Sounds like you're the same way. You like a variety. So
I do. I can't. I've never liked working on one thing. I just kind of get bored a whole lot easier, and I feel like my mind goes a million miles an hour. So I need the change of scenery at work. So if I'm working on the same pieces or the same piece of equipment constantly, it would just become such a droll. So now that it can switch it up, especially with the kitchen equipment, you could work in a kitchen all day, work at 4 or 5 different kitchens and touch a totally different piece of equipment. Or even in the same kitchen, you could work on 4 different pieces of equipment, same day, same kitchen, but completely different, but all, cooking equipment. So I think that's one of the reasons I loved it, and I really like it. It's because I'm constantly seeing something different. I'm never kind of getting stuck, working on the same thing. And, that's huge. And dish machines now, that's adding to that. I used to kind of be nervous because I never worked on them, never really tore one apart. But once you take it apart, you're working on it. I mean, it's kind of set up the same way. Just, got controls, got motors, drain, water lines, solenoids, all that stuff. It's just, you just got to read the schematic and look at how it's set up. And so I don't mind it. I know a lot of guys hate it because, like you said, you get wet. But I usually lay down cardboard and then like a plastic bag over top of that, and then I'm usually pretty good.
Yeah, you got to learn to carry extra uniforms. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I do as well. So especially like fryers, like if you got any clogged drain on a fryer, I always will have to bring out the extra uniform afterwards, no matter what. So I just usually dive right into those, take it apart, pump it out. Usually get the grease all over you, and then
People are like, "What? What's that smell?" I'm like, "You don't want to know." I'm like, "Kitchens." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "You still don't want to know what it is." Yep. I come home, my van seats are ruined from grease and everything else I sat in or got on me, and
it's like I got home the other day. And my daughter came. She's 6. She came up. She hugged me real tight, and she was like, I saw she kind of got like a stinky look on her face, and I was like, "What's wrong?" She was like, "You smell like old French fries." It's like, yes, I usually do every day. So
I smell like money is what I tell my kids.
That's the smell of money, kid.
So, what's the craziest piece of equipment you worked on lately?
Probably recently, probably Blodgett BCX14 combi oven. I
Combi
actually
with
think
yeah, we talked about with the water level sensor issues.
yep, that water level board. That was a pretty complex piece of equipment. I haven't seen many Blodgett combi ovens, and that's actually a location of ours that has 4 of those. So the schematic on that thing was like the blueprint. Like it was that huge fold out piece of paper. So that
Multiple
was pretty,
pages and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep, yeah, that
Yeah,
was pretty interesting, pretty complex.
once you open up a rationale schematic, and it's like 10 pages, and like it tells you like where to look, what page, and like what it's nuts. It's crazy. So yeah, I was
Yeah.
curious about Blodgett because you reached out to me about it, and I hadn't worked on a Blodgett combi. We're a Blodgett rep. There's just not a ton of them around, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been right at 4 years, and that's why I asked you if it had eyes, because the ones I seen had a tube. It's just an opaque tube, and then it had shined a beam through there, and the water coming through just changed the color of the tube enough where it break the eye. So I wasn't sure if you had the eyes or if you had a float or probes or what. So there's all different kinds of ways to skin a cat. I mean, some of these ovens use floats, some of them use probes, some of them use eyes. It's crazy. Most of the ones I deal with anymore, besides Rationale, are boilerless, so they have a spritzer, so it measures water pressure and sprays water into the blower wheel. So it's crazy. So when you call and ask me, I'm throwing stuff out there, and you're like, "What are you talking about eyes?"
I know you're like, does it have an optical eye? And I was like, I'm not sure, man. Let me check. I was like, it might. But no, it had that mechanical float on it, not the probes, and that was linked to that board. So no, I hadn't seen a whole lot of those. And then I looked up, like you said, like the optical eye, and I could see them on our service manager. He's been in the trade for a while, and he works on big commercial, industrial sized boilers. And I was like, you ever heard of an optical eye flow switch? And he was like, oh, of course. I was like, oh, okay. So they would kind of like, and I looked it up, and I did see where some Blodgetts had them, but that one specifically is just that float, that mechanical float.
I think they did away with the eye because once that tube lime scaled up a little bit or deteriorated, I think it just always read it's full of water. It's probably, and the way those work is they have to fill and then flush in a certain amount of time, or they won't heat because it thinks there's an error. So once that tube got deteriorated or lime scaled up, it wouldn't heat because it would always just throw an error code. So
yeah, I mean, I guess when they work, they would work, but I feel like there's a big room for error on those because of scale. Any kind of anything that would block that view, that beam of that eye would throw it off, and that's a unnecessary.
I was working on it all the time, man. I was working on it all the time. I was so glad when I got rid of it.
Yeah,
not beating up on Blodgett. It was just that technology. The optical eye was just a nightmare. So. I mean,
and that's the thing. I wasn't really aware that Blodgett had a whole lot of combi ovens just because I haven't seen many. And that service call came in as a Blodgett oven, and so I go there expecting just to pull up the Blodgett oven, and I get there and it's the combi oven. I was like, oh man! And it was that water issue. It was just shooting water out of there. I was like, what is that?
Yeah. You're like, why is there water coming out of this corner? I'm like, it's overflowing. Check your solenoid, your flow. Let's figure this out. So. I'm glad you got to figure it out. Get taken care of.
We're actually that board's actually back ordered though.
That don't surprise me.
No, I think it's. I contacted them and they're still waiting on their supplier to send them to their factory so they can send one. I have one on order, but we'll get it fixed. Luckily, they have 3. They have redundancy in there, so they have 4 altogether. So now they're just down to 3, and they have 4 Rationale ovens too.
Holy
so they're kind
smokes.
of they have a huge amount of equipment in there.
They're steaming a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They cook. I can't remember the amount of productivity she said they do, but it's a ton. They also have a 60-gallon kettle there too.
Yeah, I like the old kettles, man. Have you done anything steam fed for a kettle or anything yet, where it's steam line fed, or
I have. What'd you say?
So yours pretty much all self-contained, where they heat themselves, or?
Yeah. That's mainly the ones the only kettles I've worked on thus far are just self-contained, obviously gas or electrical. I haven't touched any of the steam-fed ones. I don't know if any of our customers right now have those, but
they're
most
popular
of it,
in like universities and hospitals and stuff will have them. So they're totally different beasts to work on. I used to have a account where we did their dish machine. It was a big Hobart flight machine, and it was actually steam-fed heat.
Oh wow!
And you'd get holes in heat exchangers, and you'd walk by and you'd hear it whistling, and just a real high pitched whistle, just be screaming. And you open the door and you just see steam coming out. It was pretty crazy.
And that's a Hobart steamer?
No, it was a Hobart flight dish machine. It was steam fed heat.
Okay.
So the tank had a heat exchanger, had a coil in there. So when it called for heat, it opened up the solenoid and let steam come in, and steam heated the water. So it was
Okay.
on
Okay.
steam loop. It was pretty nuts.
Hmm. So is that just fed off the boiler in the
It just fed off the
building?
buildings. So it's a big hospital, so they have their own steam plant. So
Okay.
they just pump steam throughout for heat and everything else, and they just use that to heat the water too in the dish machine. But they also had some steam jacketed kettles, so they had some big ones, they had some little ones. Little ones were mounted on like a counter, and the
Hmm.
trunnions would go bad. The trunnion is just a seal and a bearing in the arms where it tilts, and
Hmm.
it shoots steam out the side, and you have to shut steam down to that thing and pull the arms off and put new trunnions and new bearings and stuff in there, seals, put it back together. So I wasn't sure if you've done any of that kind of stuff yet. It's amazing the stuff you run into a kitchen eventually.
Yeah. And I've already seen like a whole lot. We're not there yet. Most of the stuff we do is, I mean, we have some food banks and restaurants, and that's mostly what we're doing. We haven't expanded off into like hospitals. I mean, we have quite a few hospitals and nursing homes and stuff like that around here, but I think you guys actually take care of a lot of the hospitals down here that I've seen. So
Yeah, I'm not sure what we do down there. I know they're hiring some techs down there. I don't know. I wish I could hire some techs up in my area, but it's a little rough. But
what's
I'm not
the
sure.
tech market like up there? Is it slim or?
Yeah, it's slim picking. Is like it, if I could find young guys out of high school and spend 6 months to a year training them, I'd do it. So I have a
Hmm.
trainee now. He's 19. He'll be 20 in a couple weeks. I should know, I guess. But um, he's my son. But he's been with us for 6 weeks, I think now, 6 7 weeks, and he's going to be riding with me or another senior tech for 6 plus months. I mean, we may turn him loose doing some basic part hangers and troubleshooting and stuff like that, but we've committed to really spending 6 months to a year and making sure he's well versed and he's had every chance he can to succeed. So that's
Hmm.
pretty much my path right now. Is I'd rather take young guys that want to learn and pump them out, but the thing is, we had some younger guys that had worked for us and they can't handle the hours.
Hmm.
But instead of talking to you about it, they just quit. I'm like, you need to talk to us. If you talk to us, we can work with you. You just quitting and not explaining the reason why you're quitting or why you wanted to quit. It's like that's not fair to us. I mean, we'll
Hmm.
work with you if you talk to us, but
Because you need to know what you can fix so you can fix it, as
yeah,
opposed
I
to
mean,
someone just quitting.
yeah, I mean, during the week, if you're not on call, I mean, they're not expecting you to crank out 55, 60 hours, 50 hours. I mean, when you're on call, it is what it is. You just got to do what you got to do. But during the week, I
Hmm.
mean, 45 generally, is a decent sticking point for a lot of guys. Not me, but a lot of guys
Yeah.
will get 45 hours a week. They're happy. I mean, that's fine. I
I,
mean, you can do, 9 hour days, 8 hour days, 9 hour days, whatever you want to do. But not me, man. I want to leave at 5 in the morning and get home 5 at night, get my 12 in, and see what I can do.
dude, I feel like you work every day. It's like you're always posting Saturday, Sunday, like work. I'm like, dude, you're not even on call.
No, I'll work Saturdays, not on call. I'll work Sundays, not on call. I didn't work
Mm.
this weekend because it was opening weekend of hunting season, and I didn't even hunt. I worked in the barn all weekend, trying to get
Oh,
this
okay.
office and stuff built. So I got my loft put in. Well, about half of it, but I got a good start on it. But no, I work every chance I get. I like money. I
Yeah.
like doing dumb stuff. So
This is the first weekend I've had off in about a month. I think I've been doing. We've had some PMs we need to catch up on, kitchen PMs, and just service calls that came in. You know how it goes. A call come in Friday night for kitchen. Like, I'll run it in the morning. You go, you run that one. More come in, and then you end up working Sunday too. So this is my first 2 day weekend I've had off in a while. So
same here. Same here. I ready to get. I wanted to go hunting, but I need to get stuff done. So getting stuff done kind of was a little higher on the list. It was only opening weekend, so I got 3 months to go, so I'm good on that.
what do you? Is it gun hunt season or bow
No,
or?
Indiana has archery from start to finish. So October 1st is the opener, and Indiana has
Mm.
a couple gun seasons. They have a rifle gun season like over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, and then there's another one. It's like a muzzleloader season, a late muzzleloader season.
Oh, okay. Is that like the musket thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're pretty crazy. I have a muzzleloader. I can shoot like 300 yards accurately. So
Oh my
it's
gosh, nice.
yeah. So as long as it loads through the muzzle, it can be pretty crazy anymore. So
Yeah. That's what my brother, he had a muzzleloader gun when we were in high school. And I think it was crazy. It looked like a like a George Washington gun, like you had to like back it down, but it was pretty cool. But he never hunted with it. He got it as a gift, and I think he still has it hanging up.
that's cool. So what do you like to do outside of work? I've seen you like to travel, and I see you always take pictures of your wife and kids. So I know you're doing other stuff.
Yeah, mainly hanging out with the kids right now. I have three pretty little ones, so most of the time we'll hang out, like go to baseball games. We got a minor league baseball team here. Um, mainly just pretty much whatever the kids want to do is mainly what I'm doing right now. I mean, we'll hang out. Me and my wife will go out every other weekend, every chance we get. We'll do some date nights, and you know, I guess that and baseball games and hanging out with the kids and seeing what's going on.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
pretty busy area down there. There's a lot of stuff to do down in the Jeffersonville, Louisville area. It's always something going on. Boat
there
races
is.
or fireworks. There's always baseball games. So it seems like a pretty cool little area. I've I've only been down there a couple times. I drive through there quite often, traveling for work and other stuff. But it seems like it's always a pretty busy little city.
It is, and there's a lot of stuff to do for your family, and then also, when me and my wife go out, there's a ton of stuff to do here too. So I think we might be going to AHR in February, but if we
Please,
don't do that,
please.
we'll probably still be traveling somewhere around that time too. But I'm thinking about AHR would be pretty cool. It's an
It's
excuse, It's in Atlanta, but
it's a blast. So I still haven't booked my room. Shame on me. I don't know if my wife's gonna get a hotel. If we're going to rent it to an Airbnb or what we're going to do.
yeah,
I actually just secured a podcast spot, so I'll be on a podcast pavilion. I got Wednesday towards the end of the day, but I can't complain because I had no idea it was even open yet. And the next thing I know, it was
yeah.
closed. It was full. So I managed to squeak a spot in there. So I know I'm going to do some work with some other people that are going to be there, so I can jump on theirs and hang out with them. So, but it's a blast, man. It was twofold. So you get to meet all the social media people, like all the guys will be there, all the the big accounts you see. So you get to meet all those guys, and don't do like I did when I first got there. I was shy. I was like, man, I thought these guys was like special or celebrities, and like they want to take pictures of you. They want to interact with you. Like I've had guys like I introduce myself, like, oh, do I follow you? I was like, no, I follow you. They're like, oh, find your name. They give me their phone. I find my name. They click follow and hit the bell. I'm like, holy cow! I'm like, this is amazing. So I was like starstruck. Um,
Yeah.
but if you go and you can swing it, check out the the HVAC Tactical Awards at AHR. That was a fun night. It's a Sunday before everything kicks off. This year it's going to be a black tie event. They give people who are nominated for awards. They have an award ceremony, dinner, drinks. They give out a swag bag. I'm not sure what they're going to have this year. Last year, everybody got these pretty sweet backpacks and all kinds of stuff. So if that's something you're interested in swinging, check it out. If not, I mean, the whole AHR thing in general is just it's huge. You can find tool reps, companies. Now, there's not any companies that sell equipment there like what we're used to as far as kitchen stuff, but there's companies there, all the manufacturers of tools, coils, all different kinds of stuff. You can just walk around for 2 days lost, but I mean, everyone has free stuff. There's happy hours that pop up at the end of the day. It was an absolute wild time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw the pictures and like the condensed videos of it. It looks pretty cool, and that's probably the coolest and the biggest selling point is like all the free stuff you get. Everybody loves all the free stuff.
Oh yeah, I came home. Well, when I went to Vegas, I flew. We flew out there, and I took the biggest suitcase I had and put another suitcase inside it. So when we got back, I had one suitcase that was full of swag and stuff I sent back.
Yeah, you can use it for giveaways and stuff too, though.
Yeah. So I mean, but it's cool. You get a network, and there's companies you can talk to about working with you and stuff, and um, there's always after parties at the end of the day. Different organizations, different companies will have an after party or something or dinner, and you pick up invitations, that kind of stuff. So it's really a cool event, and you can market yourself there. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a blast. So, but no, if you're definitely down, if you talk your wife into it, it's Atlanta. So there's other things you can do, but we're going to go down. I think the Saturday before, and I think we're going to come back Thursday, just because I secured that spot on Wednesday, so I'll make sure I'm gonna stay all the way through Wednesday and get to see everything.
Yeah, we were thinking about going there, and I was also thinking about going to the NRA in Chicago, the restaurant one, not the gun one.
Yeah, NRA is cool. I'll definitely be there. I'm trying to talk NRA into doing some things, so if it works out, I'll make a big post about it. I don't know if they'll do it, so I'm waiting on to hear back a reply email. But just tons of manufacturing for all the equipment. If you leave hungry, you screwed up because they're just cooking food everywhere you go.
Yeah, I heard they had the robots last time.
Like Middleby had all their robots there, cooking fries and doing stuff. I'm sure there'll be even more robots next year. That's a huge market that's developing right now. Yeah, we actually had a panel on it at CFESA about robots and the direction of servicing them and that kind of stuff. And I figured it'd be more hands-on repairs, but they made it sound like, oh, just whatever's wrong with it, just swap that arm out, put a new arm on, send it back, we'll take care of it. I'm like, no, that's not the end route. I mean, that may be under warranty, but that's not that's going to be the entire time they own this robot. So we'll see.
That's crazy that that's already like making its way into the industry, like robotic.
Yeah, it's big right now. The parent company of like what's the name? Aspire Brands. So it's like Buffalo Wild Wings and Arby's. They've got a bunch of those robots in testing, I guess, already.
Oh, nice.
That's crazy. We'll see. It's kind of weird. I've talked to people that have worked on them, and they said that like the fryers are like in plexiglass, so you can't even access them, so you can't get in the way of the robot. So I'm like, well, how do you work on this thing if it breaks? And they're like, we don't know. It's like, what do you got to work?
We haven't got there. That's for us to figure out when we get there.
I got to take a stupid arm off the fryer and work on it.
That's the service tech's fault. That's our job when we get there to figure out how to work on it.
Yeah, it's funny. It's just every day. Just figure it out. Okay. Yep. I guess I get paid to figure things out. I always tell everybody, it was broken when I got here. And they just look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, what? It was.
That's why I'm here.
So what's your favorite thing to work on right now?
Probably I go through phases, I guess. Probably I don't know, combi ovens have been cool. Kind of getting into that more and more, just because they were kind of they're still intimidating. But I think there's just so much to them, and they're so interesting, and every one of them's built a little bit differently. So I've been requesting more and more of those. So when the combi ovens come in, typically they'll send them to me just so I can get my hands on them more often. And flat top griddles, man, that's my number one favorite.
The canes, huh?
Yeah, man, the Eckesteins. Those things are crazy.
I had that one I did the startup on. It was all bent up, man, and I don't know. Someone went out there and I don't know if they didn't change the grill, but they fixed it. I don't know how they fixed it, but I went back to do I did a startup and I found that one broke. It was kind of like beat up. I was like, this doesn't make no sense. But they wanted me to do another startup before they opened up. So I went back out there. I was like, it was fixed, but it still had my sticker on there. I was like, I don't know how they fixed it, but whatever.
It was damaged?
Yeah. So it looked like the middle of the plate was bent down. So you know how they have those little channels you got to loosen up. You pop down and the front drops down.
Mm-hmm.
So that channel was bent so bad and the frame was bent down, you couldn't get that channel off, drop the panel down. So I literally had to bend that channel out and break it to get it out. And then I stick a screwdriver behind it. I could pry that bottom panel out so I could check amp draw and stuff. And I put it back together and I sent the factory all kinds of pictures and stuff. And like I said, I went back and it wasn't bent no more. It still had my sticker on there. So I knew it didn't get replaced. I don't know what they did.
Did they send out, I guess, a factory rep?
The factory probably did because it was just Bloomington, Indiana. So it was like a 3-hour drive from their plant.
And that's what they're in Fort Wayne, aren't they? Eckestein?
Yeah, they're in Fort Wayne.
Okay. I was wondering if they do like classes or anything. It'd be cool to go see their
they have. I don't know how much they have. You can probably get on their website and probably email somebody. They can probably help you out with that.
Yeah, because I mean, every Canes has one of those. They're pretty neat. They're a lot more intricate than you would think. You think it's just a flat top griddle until you read that schematic and that service manual. You're like, wait, there's freaking water in this thing.
As long as it never pops that pop off. If it pops that pop off, you might as well throw it away.
Yep, you're done at that point. We had one. The guy said it popped the pop off, but they fixed it. I'm like, no, you didn't. I don't. I mean, you're not supposed to.
It's gonna be a headache from there. I wouldn't mess with it.
Because you got to weld it back. You'd have to weld that back on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
You had one that was just cooking pretty off. Did you ever get back and fix that up, or?
Yeah, I replaced the probe and the thermostat. I was thinking that thermostat was out of calibration, but according to tech support, they want you to change them both. So I went ahead and
Nice.
swapped both out. There's an RTD sensor in the thermostat, and I turned it back on, and it was, it did what it was supposed to.
Nice.
So, and that's what they said. Future reference, do both. I don't know if that's just like a CYA thing they were telling me, or if they just want you to change. Well, as they said, your RTD sensor, a new one. I'm trying to think how he worded it, but the new RTD sensor you put on would cause the thermostat to further go out of calibration. So I just went ahead and did both, whatever they sent me. So
yeah, that works. So have you seen either their steamers or anything they have, AccuTemp?
I have not. The only ones I've seen are the Griddles.
So they have a pretty cool steamer. I don't know if they still make it anymore, but they used to make one that had a vacuum pump in it.
Oh, wow.
You pull the side off and there's a vacuum pump in there. So what happens is it's pulling in a vacuum the entire time it's trying to steam. And then once it starts steaming, it creates enough pressure from the steam that the vacuum pump can't keep up, and it actually activates the switch, and that's how it knows the temperature. It's pretty wild how it works, but it's got an actual vacuum pump in there. So
what? That's awesome. I haven't seen those.
I haven't seen one in a while, but it was pretty cool the way they worked.
And that's a kettle, you say, or
no,
a steamer?
A steamer cabinet. Yep.
Oh,
like Applebee's maybe used to have them. I can't remember. I know some nursing homes and schools had them, but yeah, I actually had a little vacuum pump in there. Biggest issue would be like the hoses would rot. It's air, or there was like little suction cups in the door that held the door closed, that kind of stuff. They go bad, so it wouldn't close the door off very well.
Okay, that's pretty neat. No, I haven't seen those. I haven't seen a whole lot of their equipment, just their griddles, which are, I mean, they're cool. They're cool to work on, and it's cool that they're local-ish.
Yeah,
they're just up in Fort Wayne, so
representing
for the Hoosiers. That's the Hoosier product right there, man.
Well, Lincoln used to be made up in Fort Wayne too. So Lincoln Conveyor Ovens.
Okay, they're in Chicago now. That's Middleby, right?
No, Lincoln's part of Ali Group, Hvac. So I think they're over in Cleveland area now is where they're made at.
Okay, yeah, you're right. That is now, because now the Lincolns have the well-built logo on the pieces. Yeah.
Yeah, you used to be able to just drive up to the factory and get parts years ago.
Yeah.
Man, I'm still getting my tail kick from sinuses.
Yeah, it's been bad, man, because it was, I'm sure it's been the same up there, but it was pretty warm, and then we got pretty cold, and now we're warmish again, and it's just going to get cold again. So,
well, I left here and went to Nashville, and everyone was in Nashville who got sick, but I tested negative 3 times, so I didn't get that bug, but my sinuses kicked my butt. Now it's like up in my ears and driving me nuts. I probably sound like crap, but it is what it is. Gotta get this stuff out, man. I can't wait any longer.
No, I feel that, man. It's that time of the year.
So, what do you think about tearing apart nasty fryers? You know, any fry pot change-outs or anything yet?
I haven't done any fry pot change-outs. From what I've heard, unless it's warranty or unless we're handling a warranty, probably just opt to replace the fryer. I've heard just costs of labor, and just because we have a guy that works here, he's been doing it for about 25 years, and that's his train of thought is, if it's cracked fry pot, just swap out the fryer, because I know that's an overnight job. That's a big deal, but so I haven't done one yet. I mean, I'm not opposed to doing it, but I haven't done one yet.
Yeah, we always give the customer the option. So, if it's been like a lot of those fry pots have a 7 to 10 year warranty on from the manufacturer, so you got to take that into consideration. Yeah. So, but if I change a fry pot, I'm putting in a new thermostat, new high limit. I do it all new. It's like I always try to explain to my customer, well, you wouldn't put a new motor in your car and put the old spark plugs back in it, would you?
Yeah, for sure.
And then they understand it when you explain it that way. I'm like, okay, so, but yeah, if I put a new fry pot in, it's getting all new probes, all new high limits, everything's going to be new. I'm not trying to save $120 by reusing a high limit and then it's broke or whatever. So,
yeah, that's probably the best train of thought too, because if you replace all that and then you got a service call and a high limit, a week later on a Saturday, it sucks when you've already had that thing torn apart.
Yep. Well, we're approaching an hour. I don't want to keep you too long on a Sunday. I know you want to spend some time with the wife and kids. So, how about you tell everybody where they can find you if you want them to find you? If not, you don't have to tell them anything. But I think it's pretty good, and I'm sure you're going to start putting more out there. So let everybody know where they can find you at.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. I think it's Dusty Leroy. I believe it's DUSTYLEEROY. And I think I have some kitchen stuff on there. I've been posting. I've been so busy, I haven't posted a whole lot. So I will be posting more, and I may make a separate Instagram account just for content like that. That way we can have, I can join you in the ranks of the commercial kitchen equipment Instagram people. And we can kind of start a following there.
Yeah, there's a few of us that are starting to get some traction. So, and I got a potential co-host maybe coming on. I got to talk to him some more, but he's pretty interested. So I may have a co-host coming up. And
Okay.
I appreciate you coming on, man. And thanks for everything. And everybody check him out. Give him a follow, and I'm sure more to come. So take care, everybody.
For sure, man. Appreciate it.
Yep. See you.
Thanks, man.